From the wisdom of our ancestors from Cameroon, they say, if a tiger knows how much it is feared, it will do more harm. This is Kojemchi TV. You are welcome. Today, I'm here to take you through major political events that took place from 1844 to 1957. That is from then Gold Coast to newly independent Ghana in 1957. I won't waste time. Let me take you through that. Now, in 1844, there was a bond. Why even taking it from 1844? We know slave trade ended in 1844. Why did they end the slave trade? They ended it because human labor was not useful again. The European countries were moving to industrialization system, which more machines will be needed to produce goods. And again, if they are to engage in slave trading, who are they going to sell those goods that they are producing to? So they have to free Africans so they can turn their attention to Africa. So in other words, Africa was the marketplace for the Europeans where they come and sell their products. Fast forward, let's move into the major political event. As I mentioned earlier on, it started from 1844. A treaty was signed between the British and the Fancy States. It was signed between British governor, the then British governor called Commander Hale, and the various coastal states. Initially, it was the Fancy State who signed that treaty. I'm only highlighting it to you. In our subsequent videos, I will take my time and go through all these major political events. So you know what you will do. You will subscribe and then you what? You will share and you leave your comment. Please feel free to leave any comment of your choice, especially on this major political event that I am about to highlight to you. Let's move on. In 1844, the bond was signed and they call it the Bond of 1844. There was some treaty in the bond. I won't go deeper into it. I only consider some of the treaties. One of the treaties was that the British would protect the Fantis from the Ashantis invasion. That was one of the the condition in the treaty. Sorry. Again, moving on, in 1852, another event occurred and it was titled the Poll Tax Ordinance, which the Fantis later opposed it. Initially, the Fantis accepted it because it was a kind of developmental project which every Fanti in every year will pay 1 shilling for developmental project. But the British needed that so they will be able to carry on their administrative programs in the then Gold Coast. The Fantis realized that after signing the bond in 1844, which the British promised to protect them against Ashanti's invasion, they failed. So they formed a confederation in 1868. So we have the Fanti Confederation in 1868. The confederation was formed in their spiritual home, that is Mankesim. Did you know? No. Kojemchi TV will give you all that. The confederation was having an emblem, which the emblem was a palm nut with an elephant standing beside it. As I promised you earlier on, we will take our time and go through each of these political events, why it was formed, and what went on during those times. Today is only about highlighting it to you. So the confederation was formed because the British has failed to protect them from the Ashantis invasion. That was one. Two, they felt that the British was having the idea or the mindset of colonizing them in the near future. So they formed to be able to oppose it. At some point, they became successful, but eventually the confederation collapsed. I'll take you through that in our subsequent videos. If today is your first time watching Kojointwi TV, please subscribe, comment, and then share for us. We need to grow this family. This channel should go far so that those who do not know about this will also get to know about it. Thank you very much. Let's continue. Now, after 1868, there was a war between the British and the Ashantis. That was in 1874. The Ashantis, because they wanted to take control over the coastal states, the British felt that enough was enough. So there was a war, which through this war, the Ashanti capital called Kumasi was destroyed. This was in 1874. Did you know Kumasi was referred to as the San Francisco of West Africa? Yes, it was, because of its beauty and aesthetics, how they have built it. But in this war, it was destroyed and the Ashantis were defeated in 1874. The war was titled the Sir Garnet Wolseley War, which majority of the Ashantis especially could not pronounce it well, so it was abbreviated Sagaranti War in 1874. It's getting interesting. Follow me, let me take you to more. This is Kojointwi TV. Good. So in 1897, a society was formed, and this society was formed mainly to oppose the land tenure system, which was proposed by the British in 1897. At that time, the British wanted to take over the control of all those land going on activities in the Gold Coast, which the educated elite at that time, especially those at the Gold Coast, realized that no, they have to stand up and fight against that. So it was chaired by a man called John Mensah Saba. The society name was called the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, and it was formed in 1897. Again, the last Anglo-Ashanti War also followed up in 1900, what we named it, or we popularly call the Ya Asantewaa War, because Ya Asantewaa, then the Queen Mother of Ejoso, led the Ashantis to fight against Sir Frederick Hudson and his soldiers. Again, what was the war about? Because Frederick Hudson was demanding for the golden stool, which the golden stool is the heart of the Ashantis. So Ya Asantewaa could not sit down and allow the golden stool to go into the hands of the British. So she fought. Yes, the Ashantis were defeated, but the golden stool were kept safe, and it is still safe right there at the Menchia Palace. Fast forward, in 1914, the first constitution of the then Gold Coast was drawn. Who was the governor then? This constitution was drawn, and it was to govern the people of Gold Coast, because by that time the Ashantis and then the Northern Territory has become British protectorates, so they needed a constitution. So it was drawn in 1914. First constitution to be drawn in Gold Coast, 1914. Fast forward, the same year there was the First World War. It didn't affect Gold Coast activities that much, but another governor was introduced in the name of Sir Frederick Garden Gaggisberg, which we all know Frederick Garden Gaggisberg. When this man became governor of Gold Coast from 1919, that was when the First World War ended. When he came, he set a 10-year development plan, which was supposed to last from 1919 all the way to 1929. But for him, he ended his service in 1927. But in 1925, he drew the second constitution for the Gold Coasters in 1925. In that constitution, the hospital were to be built, and we got Korle Bu Teaching Hospital right under the rule of Sir Frederick Garden Gaggisberg. Not only that, the Takoradi Harbour was also built. Roads were constructed, including railways. Yes, it was constructed so they could easily transport the gold and other minerals to the shores where it will be exported to the British land. But at least there was some sort of development. So we clap for him for that. Fast forward from 1925, where this constitution was drawn, 1946, another constitution was drawn, which the governor who chaired this constitution was called Sir Alan Burns. Why 1946 constitution, or why Alan Burns constitution? Because Sir Frederick Garden Gaggisberg constitution has been considered as an outcake, an old-fashioned constitution, because there was a Second World War, which after the World War, a lot of political revolution started rising up. A lot of other activities started rising up. Then a new constitution were needed to match up with the growing population, the growing world. So Frederick Gaggisberg constitution should be thrown away, where Alan Burns constitution should be used. Did you know that it was the Alan Burns constitution that opened the eyes of these educated elites, and first political party for the country was formed? I mean the UGCC. In August, it was formed in Salt Pond, right there in Central Region. We know who the chairman was, our dear father, George Parr Grant, and some other big names that we know, J.B. Dankwa, which is Joseph Boakye Kyerehwee Dankwa, and some other names. But today, as I said, I'm only highlighting it to you. As time goes on, I will take you through all these political events, what actually happened, and all that. Right after 1947 of forming the United Gold Coast Convention, in 1948, there was a disturbances which occurred on 28 February 1948. In fact, the day was Sunday. What about the time? It was around 2 p.m. after church, and these disturbances occurred. It's not new to us, but the time and then the day is new to you, and it is only Kojentri TV who will give you that. Please subscribe, as I said earlier on, share, and then comment. We need that comment to improve on our channel. Thank you very much. Let's continue. Moving from 1948, the second political party was formed in the name of what? Convention People's Party, which was formed by the man who gained independence for us, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, right there in Accra on 12th June 1949. He formed his own political party. Fast forward, a first general election was also held in the then Gold Coast, and it was held in 1951. In that election, Nkrumah won. Where was Nkrumah when he won that election? He was right there in Jamestown prison. He has to win the election so he will be freed from the prison. Yes, and truly he won. Why was that election organized? Yes, I'll take you through that, but you should know it was organized so it will grant Ghana her internal self-rule. Since Nkrumah won, Nkrumah was made the leader of government business, which is equal to prime minister, right there in 1951. Yes, this is Kojentri TV. We will let you know what you don't know. Yes. So we continue. In 1954, there was another general election. Again, Nkrumah won that election whilst as the prime minister. He won. Why was that election organized? Yes, it was organized because some group were agitating that the state should be governed in a federal way, but Nkrumah preferred the unitary system. So there should be an election, which that election, the major opposer was K.A. Busia, who led the UP, the United Party, on the other side, and faced Nkrumah's CPP. With how popular and how Ghanaians have accepted CPP, Nkrumah won that election. I'll take you through that again, but that one will be into details. As I said earlier on, I'm only giving you highlights of it. So moving forward, in 1956, there was a yes or no vote, which we call it the plebiscite, which we needed some part of Northern Territory and some part of the British Togoland to decide either they want to be part of newly independent Ghana or they will be part of today Togo. Okay, so moving forward, some parts accepted to be part of the newly independent Ghana. That was in 1956. Again, from there, 1957, on the eve of that's 12 March 1957, President Nkrumah, or then leader of government business, declared the independence of Ghana. That is on 6th March 1957. Why 6th March? Because it is believed that the first treaty that was signed, which took the country to colonization, was signed on 6th March 1844. So if we are breaking away from colonial reigns, then we should use the same date, which is 6th March 1957. So the focus is on 6th March because it was in the same month that the first treaty was signed and the country got into colonization. So if we are breaking away, then it should be on that same month, the same date, 6th March 1957. So Nkrumah declared the independence of this country. It didn't end there. On that day, when he was declaring the independence of this country, what did he say? He gave a lot of speech, but let's consider some major of them, some 3 major speeches that he gave. One of it was, the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up to the total liberation of the whole African continent. So from there, he was pushing for the African unity. It didn't end there. He also said, now that we've gained our independence, we have to change our attitude. And that's where my question is. What is our attitude as Ghanaians, as Nkrumah, our first president, said we should change our attitude? Again, he said for the last, which I'm ending on that, he said that now we've gained political independence, we have to work towards gaining economic independence. And that was Nkrumah's focus of gaining economic independence for the country, because he has been able to gain political independence for the country. Unfortunately, Nkrumah was overthrown, and that is the sad story. We will take you through that one too. Since you are with Kojentri TV, every history concerning Ghana's development, right here, we will give it to you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, share, and then comment. Thank you. Bye bye.